afternoon, good evening for most. This is Jacqueline Charles. I'm back with the Women Are Worthy show. Now, when it comes to business, how I love to talk about business, and I like to give people the opportunity to talk or to listen to someone who has wealth of experience. Now, baby, we got one here today. We have Mr. Wil Shelton. He's the owner of Wil Power Integrated Marketing, WPIM. Wil has promoted albums to Whitney Houston, Toni Braxton. Wil Shelton is also a former salon owner, and he's the host of his own show called The New Normal. I like that with Wil Shelton. So without further ado, I want to bring everyone attention to Mr. Wil Shelton. Hello, Mr. Wil.
Hey, how you doing? I'm doing good. How you been today?
Look, my life was hectic this morning, and then I had to remember that you were going to be on this show. I'm doing fabulous now that I'm talking to you.
Nice. All right.
So I want people to know that your show is aired because we have a lot of replays. People watch the after show, and when it goes back up for reposting, that your show airs every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific time and 7 p.m. Eastern time. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yep.
Okay, so Wil, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. Well, actually, I started as a hairstylist. I've been a licensed cosmetologist for 26 years. I had my own salon for 10 years. And, while you're doing hair, clients are in there for a while. So you always conversations. It's like I call it a conveyor belt of conversations that are going on all the time. And we're talking about music, and music is always playing in the background. So a lot of times the client would tell me before they left, they would say, man, I like that album. I'm going to go buy it right now. Or I'd recommend a movie. They'd go see it. And then they come back and tell me that they saw it. So I started to realize that I was kind of inadvertently helping these entertainment companies promote their projects through my salon. So I had an epiphany and I said, you know what? I'm going to see if I can contact them and let them know what's going on. So I sent a proposal out to every movie studio and every record label I could think of. And within 30 days, guess what? They started sending me UPS and FedEx shipments of free CDs to play and advanced screening passes. And that's when I knew I had something.
This is what I want people to understand. It's not going to hurt to try. You know what I'm saying? Because you still didn't fail if it didn't go through. So I'm glad that what made you think that this is what you should do? Because I don't know if I would have thought about doing that.
Well, what it was I said, you know what, if I have nothing, I have nothing to lose. That's what I told myself. And I wasn't going to let fear hold me back, because I always tell people fear is just false evidence appearing real. So, in order to get your breakthrough in life, you're going to have to rise above your thoughts about yourself. And, you just seize the opportunity, that's in front of you. I've always believed in setting goals and going after your dreams as if your life depends on it, because the life that you want does depend on it.
Now that we're living in this climate, because now you're working with barbershops and salon owners, is that correct?
Correct.
Now that they're going to have to pivot, because I actually saw a salon owner, she shut down her business. She lost so much money. She decided to go back to corporate America, and it kind of hurt my heart. So you're the guru of this. So what is it that your services that you have for these salon owners and barbershops? What services do you provide?
Well, I'm consulting with them, and I'm trying to help them to find the opportunity in the crisis. Because I tell them there's always an opportunity in the crisis. You just have to look for it. And you can't allow the anxiety and the fear and what's going on around you to keep you from honing in on these opportunities. So what I do is I help them with their business development. When you're working every day, there's things you just put off. You say, I'll do it when I have time. And when March happened and COVID shut everybody down and everybody sheltered in, then you had all the time in the world. So now I'm encouraging them, hey, that business development, work on restructuring, work on repositioning yourself, work on looking for how to pivot in the pandemic. So I'm working with them on the mechanics of their business, the restructuring of their business, helping them with their brand identity, and helping them to really come back stronger.
And I'm glad that you're doing that, because right now you have something that's called operating in the crisis, and you have 5 things that you're doing. Can you
Mm.
briefly talk about the 5 things that you're doing? Because it's so important, Wil, because so many people decide, oh, I'm going to open up a business, and they
Mhm.
don't understand how hard it is. And what I've noticed is so many people work so hard at a 9 to 5 where they're clocking
Mhm.
in or salaried. But when it comes to their business, Wil, they're like lacking. So can
Mhm.
you explain your opportunity in crisis, the 5 steps that you have?
Yeah, one of the steps is your niche, finding a niche. And that's really defining the DNA of your company, who you really are, what is really unique about your company. Find out what's missing, what you can add to that industry. And if you can drill down, right, and distill it down to what that core organic niche is, and find out your uniqueness, because unique is even better than better. So if you find that out, then that's how you start from that point. And then you start to really find out who your target consumer is, what's the age category, what the demographics are. Are you targeting 25 to 54-year-olds, 18 to 34-year-olds, customers who like vegan food? So you really just need to really define your niche. And that's the first thing that I tell them.
So for someone who's in business for a long time, because I spoke with some salon owners, and I told them that you were going
Mhm.
to be on the show, and I told them to come in and ask some questions. There's this thing, and I'll be honest with you, they were embarrassed, because it's almost like if they're asking questions, people are going to know that they're not doing well in business. And you
Mm.
did your eyes in a kind of way like you heard that before. And it's all about helping yourself and helping others. They're like, oh, when the show plays, we'll watch it. Just ask these questions first, Jackie, because I don't want to, I've been in business for so long, but I'm not breaking even. Or now that the pandemic has happened, so just ask a couple of questions. And I want people to understand the way you operate when you're working a 9 to 5. This is not your this is your business. You have
Mm.
to handle it like your business. What is the most common mistakes or slip ups? I don't want to use the word mistake, but
Mhm.
mishaps that you see going on with people in their own business.
I think one thing is that I think they don't really understand their business model enough. Maybe they open up a shop and they don't understand marketing, or they don't understand their brand or their brand identity. I see a lot of what I call brand identity crisis out there, where they don't really understand who they are, what brand message they're putting out there to drive their business outcomes. So I see a lot of brand identity crisis out there, and I see a lot of underdeveloped businesses. Like when you're in the shop, a lot of stylists, they just see themselves behind the chair, and they don't look for other streams of revenue besides the chair. And there's the ceiling to that. I mean, so your income is going to be capped at a certain point when you're doing hair behind the chair. So thinking of other streams of revenue, how can you reach a wider audience, stepping up your game as far as what I would call getting media attention and becoming a thought leader and an authority at what you do, and the world would know it. And then you'll be the one that's on the local TV show that's doing that hairstyle for Christmas. So I see a lot of stylists that say, "Hey, how do I become bigger than just a local stylist?" And that's when you work on your media kit and your brand identity. So I think that's one big thing that happens that kind of holds businesses back or shop owners back.
I had a young lady, she asked me, this is one of the questions she suggested that I ask, that now with Instagram, everyone's an
Mhm.
Instagram lash, everyone's an Instagram model, everyone's an Instagram hairstylist. I'm not pointing to me that it's me, but just the
Mhm.
hairstyle. So how do you compete with someone who created something and they get 60,000 followers or they go viral? How do you compete in that market?
I think it's not really that hard because I think, say you've been doing hair for anywhere from 5 to 10 years, you should have a foundation that's stronger than someone on social media. Anybody can go on social media and get 60,000 followers. But if you have a real foundation and you have a real strategy and you really know how to do hair and you're even holding workshops to help other stylists, I think you're in the driver's seat. You don't have to worry about what's going on around you because you're in control of your destiny and you're in control of what you're doing in your shop, and you really have laid that foundation out already. So you really got to have a platform before you get on the social media platform, to me.
Okay, let's say I'm in high school. I know I
Hmm.
just graduated cosmetology school. What is the three things that someone should do? Okay, I graduated. I was doing hair in high school. I was doing the bootleg stuff, the kitchen beautician stuff. I actually
Hmm.
went out, got my license. What three steps, the first three steps you think that they need to take in order?
At first, I think they need to find an apprenticeship program, a program where they can assist another stylist, a top stylist that they can really learn and get mentored under. Because I think that's one of the things that's missing. A lot of young people as junior stylists come out of school and they just say, "Oh, I want to open my salon right away." But they really don't have the fundamentals, the experience, how to deal with customers, how to create the best customer experience. So the first thing I say is get under the tutelage of a great hairstylist locally, find out where they are, and go in there and let them know you want to assist under them. That's what I did. I when I came out of school for hair back in the 90s, I went and assisted in Beverly Hills. I went straight to the top and I said, "Hey, I want to learn." And there's always somebody that's going to help you. So that's the first thing I would say. Find, get some mentorship, get under apprenticeship program. And the second thing is figure out your niche. Figure out, I mean, do you want to be a master of color, of cutting? I mean, look at the high service, the high service hairstyles, and figure out what you want your niche to be. Do you want to be a person who does weaves? Because you can choose. There's people who are just colorists. They don't even press hair or cut hair. They just color hair and they make six figures. So you got to really figure out a niche, and then you got to figure out what's your target going to be. I mean, are you going to target the millennials? Are you going to target more mature women? What your clientele is going to look like? Find out what you want your clientele to look like, and those are the three things that I would really roll out first with.
Okay, my question is, okay, you were a former hairstylist, and I'm sure
Mhm.
you may still probably do hair for a few people. How did you get into that? Because I'm always curious when I meet a guy and he's a hairstylist. I love to hear this story because it's either their family or it was just something that they picked up. How did you get into that, Wil?
Well, you know what? I tell people it got into me. It really did. You know,
How?
I was already married. I had one child, and the job I was working at, they were having layoffs. So I really wanted to do something where it was my own business, where I could run it myself. So one day I went to the salon with my wife to get her hair done. And we started talking to her hairstylist, and she knew I got laid off. And she said, "Do you know that men can make pretty good money doing hair and it's your own business?" And she kind of like planted the seed. And guess what? 3 months later, I enrolled in school for hair. And I took it on like my life depended on it. And that's how I got in, or that's how I got into me.
So, what is it about doing hair that you love? Like, what part of it is it? Because for me, I'm going to be honest, you walk in, and I love being a Black woman because I
Mhm.
can walk in one day with my hair looking like Pocahontas. I
Uh-huh.
can walk in with my natural, and I just love the versatility of being a woman. Okay, not just a
Mhm.
woman. So, what is it about it? Because when I get my hair done, you can't tell me nothing. So what is it about you? Because you're the master. You're the
Yeah.
one that beautify people like myself.
Uh-huh.
So what is it that you like about it?
Well, there's a couple of layers to hair. It's not just the hair, but it's the people. When they sit in your chair, you can have a dramatic effect on their life on that day. Hairstylists, people really need us because we can get more out of you in 15 minutes than a therapist in 15 years. you know, so when people come in, I used to pray about it before I went into the salon. I would ask God to give me the words to speak to whoever was going to be in my chair, because I know as much as they needed their roots lifted, they needed their spirit lifted. so it was almost like a ministry to me. I would do a great job on their hair, but they would always tell me, man, I don't just come to you for my hair. I come to you to get uplifted, to get encouraged, to stay encouraged. So that's the biggest thing for me, is the impact that you have on somebody's life beyond the hair.
That's true, because I know, raised in New York, we would go to I'm Jamaican and Cuban, so I would go to a lot of the Jamaican stylists, right? We would get our hair done, let's say Friday, let's say around 7 o'clock. We're not leaving till Saturday morning. I mean, because we're having party, we're having full. I'm serious. Now, little did I know, she was making a killing. So, so she then built like a bed in the back of the salon. She added on. So if you were tired from the partying, you can go to sleep, get up, and you have rollers in your hair, and you're like, but God, I've been here like 7 hours. Oh, go back and sleep. For a minute, my husband thought I was having an affair, because he's like, who goes to, I'm like, look, this is a black salon. You don't understand what black salons are like. You go there, you have fun, you kikiing. Sometimes we will have parties there, popping champagne, and you're like, what's going on here? And then you have your time when you're, let me let it out to my, my stylist, just exhale to her. And then it becomes like, oh, we having like a book party, an Oprah party. And we're like, so it's true, whether it's a man or a woman, when you click with them, it's so important to click with your stylist, because I think my stylist knew more about me than my husband in the first 10 years, Exactly. So exactly. You guys are well needed.
Yeah. And I called it, like what you just said, you hit a point on, like, the duration of time that you spend there. I call it the hair hostage situation, because you literally become as soon as they wet your hair, you're a hostage. And I always told them, I said, don't let them take you to the second location, which is the dryer, and put you under there. Then you're in purgatory. So it's a lot of long hours at the salon, but it's fun and people enjoy it. And sometimes they overdo it a little bit, when they're running too late and you're sitting there for an hour talking about, hey, they haven't started on me yet. But overall, it's cool. And then you have people coming in there selling CDs and selling chicken dinners and all that. I call them, you know what I call them, Jacqueline? I call them the original Uber Eats and Postmates, because
That's true. That's true. I'm telling you, we would go to the salon, we would buy jewelry, the clothing people would come in, the food people would come in, the fish person would come in, the vegan person would come in. Then if you want, I made it a habit where I never ever had to go anywhere. Meaning, look, I know I'm going to be there all day, possibly till the next morning. So, and sometimes we would go on a Saturday and I wouldn't come back till Sunday. But it was a place for me to bond with women. That's what it was for me, to be perfectly honest. But I would come home. My husband's like, where'd you get all this? Where'd you get this sweater for me? I said, well, the sweater guy came in. Where'd you get this pants for me? This pants guy came in. So they knew the cosmetic jewelry, costume jewelry. Then the guy with the diamonds would come in. And you're like, oh my, I remember I bought a beeper. I bought everything. But
they might come in with a refrigerator or a stove. I don't know. I mean, they would go in, that was the original curbside pickup,
That's true. We had a guy who would call in and say, hey, what you want for lunch? And we're like, what's going on here? What you want for breakfast? And we would make our order. He would cook it and bring the food to us. And I'm like, this is heaven. Is this what, the highfalutin life is all about? This is heaven. So, and she would get a cut from these people, and she would make, what do you think about someone owning a salon but doesn't know how to do hair? What are your thoughts about that?
If they're a great business person, if they're coming from the corporate world and they have their business down pat, I think it's fine, because then they'll know how to operate it from a business model. So you don't really need to know how to do hair, but you do need to know the hair industry And you do need to know the revenue streams and how much you can make and what you need to do with the marketing and your audience. So if they do their research and they're a really good business person, I think it's okay.
How important is, we're in Atlanta, so how important it is for, because again, I'm asking a question from someone, how important is it that they attend those Bonner shows, the hair shows? How important is it? I didn't want to answer the question. I knew the answer, and it
Yeah.
was someone who just graduated, but I said, you're the guru, so I'll ask
Mhm.
you.
I think early on in your career may be a little bit more important because I think they have a lot of classes there. What I used to go for is I didn't go to see all the different hairstyles. I went to the business classes and I went to the hair cutting classes. And those classes are so important in your early stages of in the hair industry when you're just beginning, because you really can learn so much. And I used to go to the marketing classes and how do you do the business side. That was my main thing. So it's great. I think it's great early in your career. Later on in your career, I mean, back in the day, it was like you could get some discounts on some products and stuff like that. But later on in your career, it's really not as essential to go as when you're a younger stylist.
And there are some out there that spend so many days in the salon that they don't have a personal life, regarding balancing. How do you balance? Because I was talking to a friend of mine and she's constantly doing hair. She has not set up yet. I'm putting her on blast. You know who I'm talking to, because I know you're going to watch the after show.
Uh,
We have to talk about this because I'm seeing a lot of young stylists do the same thing. And those who don't have a social life, they're
yeah.
spending so many hours in the salon making the money, and they're not balancing out their life. So what do you say to those people? What advice can you give them?
Well, first of all, I would tell them you don't own your business owns you. And you're imprisoned to it. And it's not healthy. You need an outlet. You need to set up parameters. You need to have a balance to where you take breaks regularly. You don't have the hair hostage situation where you have to work 12 and 14 hours. And you're gonna burn out. And at the end of the day, what are you gonna say? I did 1,000 heads, and you're gonna be laying on your back somewhere. So they need to take a different perspective on it, I think, up front, and really learn how to book your clients. And I think the other thing is really think about having good customer experience. You want the customers to have an excellent experience, and that's what I would say to them.
Well, you wrote an article regarding promoting safety in the beauty industry. Well,
Mhm,
for me personally, I'm like, I've been in the health industry and I'm like, okay,
mhm,
what's going on? Can you
mhm,
tell us a little bit? Because I'm definitely going to send the viewers to your article. Can you tell us a
mhm,
little bit about it? Because there's some people that are out there that they want to go to their stylist. How do you know if your stylist is promoting safety, particularly in a COVID environment? Because right now, regardless of what anyone thinks, this has changed the course of everyone's life going
mhm.
forward.
Yeah.
COVID-19. So can you please elaborate?
Yeah, what I would say, first of all, the hair industry, salons and barbers was really a sanitized and safe industry before COVID came along. I mean, we had really stringent protocols on cleanliness in the salon before this happened, because you're dealing with chemicals, you're dealing with combs and brushes, and you really have to be clean. So before it happened, they were pretty much, up to par. Now we had to add some things to it now because of COVID. But I would say one thing you need to do as a shop owner or a stylist is you before you reopen, you really should have took surveys. Like, stay connected to your clients, ask them what would make them comfortable to come back, because customer confidence is big. You want them to come back. So you want to send them surveys and say, hey, what would you like to see us do different? Do you want us to put up partitioners? Do you want us to rearrange our chairs? And it's one thing to rearrange your chairs, but to rearrange the experience is a whole different ballgame. But
Right.
I would say to the shop owners, you really want to have those optics there too. Even if it's something that you're going a little more extreme than normal, you want your customers to see you actually practicing that. So that builds that confidence up.
Now, for those out there who they think they have a slamming business, they want to take it to
Mhm.
the next level. I want people to understand why, because I'm definitely going to promote the heck out of you because I've seen some of the things that you've done. And I
Mhm.
want to thank David for connecting me with you, David
Mhm.
Robinson for connecting me with you, because you're doing great work. How important is it that, because we have so many businesses that come in the community, it doesn't
Mhm.
matter the ethnic background, they come into the community but they're not doing anything in the community. Like, you have a hair salon, you're doing great, but you're going back home. How important is it that they help the community?
It's super important. I think that's one of the foundational things because I mean, you look at what's going on now. I mean, we have all this civil unrest
Mhm.
because of what's going on with the racial things. But within our own community, we've got to do a lot of straightening up. And as Black-owned businesses, we need to perform with excellence, and we need to give back to the community. We need, like, say for instance, if there's some young kids that want to go to beauty and barber college, they should offer scholarships to them, or pay part of their the fee for their schooling. Free haircuts on back to school, really giving back to the community. I know some barbers and some stylists who are already doing that, and their business is through the roof. And the thing about it is it just really makes you feel good that you're able to give back to the community and to give of yourself and to be unselfish in life. So I think it's really, really important as a business owner to really give back to the community that you serve.
Well, can you take me back? I want to live vicariously through you. Can you take me back when you started your company and you worked with a client and you were very successful? How was that feeling? You don't have to give us the name of the client, but can you just
Yeah.
walk us through what you did and then the client's reaction and how you felt?
Well, I signed up with them. They needed help reaching the African American consumer outside of the home. And our shops and our barber and our salons, they're like sacred spaces for us. There's so much cultural capital that exists there. So I set up a plan to do a culturally relevant campaign that would really amplify and reach this audience for them. And after I finished with the campaign, I turned in all of the work that we did, and the client said to me that they were amazed. And that made me feel good because I put a lot of pressure on myself. I don't internalize the pressure from the company, because I already know I have an inner constitution, and I already know that I have integrity, and I already know that I'm going to get the job done, no matter whether they signed a contract with me or nothing. I have my internal contract that I'm going to do the job. So I mean, you have this what I call irrepressible energy when when you do a job well, and they come to you and they say, "Hey man, we can't believe you went above and beyond." Every job I do, I try to go above and beyond in every way that I can.
What is your, because I want to go back to personal, what is your favorite thing that you like to do? Because we talked about balance. So
Mhm.
outside of work, who is David? What does David enjoy? Not
Uh,
David. What does Will enjoy? I'm calling you David.
well,
What
you
does
know
Will
what?
enjoy?
With me, I'm a weightlifter. And you may not believe this, but I've been training and lifting weights for 38 consecutive years, 3 to 5 days a week, since 1982. And that's been my outlet. I always tell people I lift the weights up, and the weights lift me up too. So I have a connection with that. I have 3 adult kids who I instilled a strong value system in them so they can reach their potential. So I enjoy watching them live out their dreams and live out the things that I instilled in them. And then just church. Really, I mean, you can't really go to church now, but I always tell people you should have always had the church in you. You
Mhm.
don't and you don't need to go to the house. But my spiritual life, being a Christian, weightlifting, hanging out with my wife of almost 30 years, those are the things that I thrive on. literally.
We got to give you, you said 30 years. So, for those watching and watching the after show,
Mhm.
look, as I said, I told you before, that's like a unicorn.
Yeah.
Tiffany Haddish says, she has a thing about the unicorn. I'm the original unicorn. I'm the original when Jada and Will said divorce is not an option. We're
Yeah.
the original, so
Exactly.
they got some more, we got more time than them, we put that
Exactly.
in.
Exactly.
So what would be so let's say someone from Washington reaches out to you and
Hmm.
said, you know what? We're going to bring this to the legislators. We want to implement a bill regarding the beauty industry. We have money to back this. What two things would you like to see passed?
Probably first, I would probably want them to pass a bill to help the minority-owned salons to grow, um, because it's just really hard for them to get financial aid or from they don't have relationships with banks. It's just hard for them. So I would like to have a bill to where they can get some direct funding, a line of credit to really help them grow their businesses, because these people, look, these shop owners are innovators in life. They're not just shop owners, they're influencers, they're trendsetters, so in order to uplift communities, you need those types of cornerstone businesses to be able to grow and prosper. So that would be the first bill. The second bill, let me think about what that would be. That's hard for me to think of the second one, but that one is
That's
such.
okay. That's okay, because I like to keep people jumping and not, so that's quite okay. Well, I'm telling you, I'm very impressed by you. When I got some information about you and I started checking you out, and I'm like, wow, because we need that. You're a guru when it comes to this. You're the first of its kind in the urban community that's helping salon owners, because and I think they need it. And I want them to understand it's not an embarrassment, because you have to remember, when Chick-fil-A started, they needed, management, they need branding, they needed someone who could help them. And let's go back to McDonald's back in the day when they first started this.
Yeah.
So I think it's important. It doesn't matter what type of business you have to have some sort of a structure. You have to go to the guru, the people. I'd like you to talk about a thing that drives me batty, because I have clients that drives me batty, and woosah. A marketing plan. When you're starting a business and you don't have a marketing plan.
Yeah,
So can you talk the importance of that?
Yeah, you might as well throw in the towel early if you don't have a marketing plan, because that's the most important component to your business. I mean, that's what I specialize. I talk to global brands. I'm helping them with their marketing every day. I was on the phone with two major global brands talking about how to market, especially now. I mean, everybody's frazzled. The whole structure is gone. You have to throw out the old playbook and adapt to what's going on. So imagine if you didn't have a marketing plan before now. Now it's even more, even the marketers are having issues.
Exactly. Because for me, I gave birth, I was, doing what I'm doing, my shows and stuff, and, getting a lot of engagement, yada, yada. So that hasn't changed for me, because I've pivoted from in a studio to, doing it from my home office. But that's something I was doing anyway. The streaming, it's just how I'm doing it, instead of in my studio, we're doing it this way. But for me, I had to pivot just a little, because I'm one of those, okay, what's next? But I find myself being extremely busy now. And I gave birth to two businesses out of the pandemic. So I'm way more busier. And I'm like, wait a minute. The purpose was for the pandemic was for me to slow down just a little, but I'm busier and I love what I do. And can you speak to how important it is not just to chase the money or have the money, how important it is to love what you do?
Yeah, that's really, because that's where the fulfillment comes in. I mean, what you really want to do in life is find what you're wired to do, what you were born to do. Somebody said the two most important days in your life is the day you were born, the day you find out why you were born. So if you can do the thing that you're wired to do, you don't even feel like it's work. You just wake up and you do that because it's your gift, it's your purpose, and that's what drives you. So the money's going to come along with that, and other
Mhm.
things as well. It's going to make room for you. Your gift will. So I think just that fulfillment out of something that you already have it inside of you. People don't realize it, but they need to start looking in. You can't look outward to find happiness. You have to look inside yourself, because that lotto ticket that you're trying to buy at the liquor store, it's already implanted inside of you, and that's your gifts and talents.
And and I was thinking, because for me, I used to say I would do this without getting paid. Not for that long.
Mhm.
But ooh, did I say that out loud? But and then I have people who are reaching out to me because they're like, "We love your passion, we love this." So I have people with brands reaching out and things they want me to pitch or commercials, and I'm loving it. And I don't know how. I'm telling you, I fell into this just like you said. You fell into the hair came to you, and I just fell into this because I've come from the healthcare world, selling and training and all that kind of stuff. So for me, I hate seeing someone who hate their jobs complaining every damn minute about how much they hate their jobs when when they should realize you're the master of your industry. You can change it. And they're constantly talking about so many the millionaires are in the graveyard. They had their dreams. So
Yeah.
can you speak to the people or the ones out there that they have a dream, whether it's in the beauty salon business or they have a dream, but they're on the fence. I don't know if I should do it. Can you speak to that, please?
Yeah, I hear it a lot, and it kind of hurts me that people don't have more confidence in themselves, and they don't believe it. I think you got to believe it first. Somebody told me this one time. They said the easiest thing in the world for them to do was to make $1 million, but the hardest thing in the world for them to do was to believe that they can make $1 million. So everybody out there, you have to believe it before you see it. And like I said before, you have to go after your dreams as if your life depends on it, because the life that you want does depend on it. So you have to do a little bit of what I call suffering to achieve it. You know what I'm saying? People think you got there overnight. They see the outcome and they think you did it fast, but that's not how it works. And that's not how it's going to last either. It wouldn't last if you did it overnight anyway. But for sure, you have to have that belief and you have to go after it. And I think if you have that inside of you, and when you talk to the right people, get those people around you who are encouragers, that are going to exhort you, that are going to talk you into your dream. I always tell people, you know what? You hear people say, get out of your comfort zone. I tell people, lean into your discomfort zone, because the more you're in discomfort, the more you're going to grow.
Well, I used to post pictures. I'm a plant-based person, so I would post pictures of my foods. And you just mentioned something that is so true. So I would post pictures. So people would call me and say, "Hey, Jackie, what's the recipes?" I was the only crazy person because everyone would post their pictures and they would post their recipes. I never post the recipes. I would just say, "Here, this is what I made." And everyone's like, "Oh my God, that looks good. That looks good." It worked in my advantage towards the end. And they're like, "What's the recipe?" And I'm like, "I want to sit down and write the recipe out and send it." So then eventually I had so many people saying, "Jackie, if you just did an ebook, we would buy your ebook." I never thought about that. I was just posting because I love to cook and I was just posting stuff. So I gave birth to that. So that ebook did well. So now people are saying, "Okay, where's part 2?" I'm like, "Damn, I gotta sit down and do a part 2." So now I have to do that. And so it wasn't something I thought of, and I'm not going to say it's something that I thought of. This is something that came to me based on me showing people. And I have a tunnel vision. I don't want to hear I can't, because with this personality, oh, it's going to happen. But so I have a tunnel vision. People are asking me, "Well, Jackie, when I left corporate America," they're like, "Jackie, you're making a lot of money. Why would you leave?" And I'm like, "I'm not happy anymore." And if I stayed, each day I stayed when I knew I should have left, my soul was silently dying. So I know I had to leave. I was starting to my stomach was bothering me. I was getting all these things was happening to my body when I knew I had to leave. I didn't want to leave, but my body was telling me that I had to leave. So people are now asking me, well, back in the day, not anymore, What's your plan B? I don't have a plan B,
Mhm.
because if I have a plan B, that means plan A, what I'm working. If it doesn't work, I'm not going to work it at 100%, because I
Mhm.
can always fall back on plan B. And I would have
Mhm.
people call me to do consultant work, but it would take up 3 months of my time and making good money. And I said, no, I'm going to do this. I'm going to ride this till I can't ride it anymore. And then I'm going to pick the wheel up and fix the wheel and put the wheel back on. That's how I felt. And it has worked for me. And because people are like, you're so passionate, you're so this, your energy. I love what I do. I love
Mhm.
talking to people and listening to your steps, reading what you're doing, because I'm telling you, my brother, you're helping me. You're going to take me to the next level, because I'm reading this. I'm telling you, you know, we have to give people their props. And I'm
Mhm.
not going to say I thought I knew everything, but I thought I did. But you heard that. There goes my inside voice again. But listening and watching you and some of the things when you on the shows, and just Sister Circle, and I fell in like with you with
Mhm.
that, because no, I fell in more respect with you
Yeah.
watching that, and you, great show, great interview, great. You had the great look for that. And when I mean look, not just physical, I'm talking about
Mhm.
what you were saying. You were
Yeah.
edifying people, you were
Mhm.
feeding me.
Mhm.
And I know my business now is going to go to the next level, because there's some
Mhm.
things that I was going to do anyway, and you gave confirmation. So I want to
Mhm.
tell you, whatever you're doing a great job. You know that already, but I still want to give you your props. I respect what you're doing. I'm here to support whatever you're doing, because we constantly have in our base that we do have a lot of stylists. And I don't want to use
Mhm.
beautician. That's how old I am. But stylists and business owners in that arena, barbershops, because I do events. I do live events where people come, and I do plant-based events, and I have a lot of hairstylists that are in it. And I'm definitely going to, they've been complaining about their business. And I think I need to send them your way,
Yeah.
because you can catapult them. I want people to understand, Will, and I want you to please talk more about this. People don't understand. You have to, in order to make money, you have to spend money.
Mhm.
Sometimes people don't, they always want the can you hook a sister up, can you do
Yeah.
this, and can we
Mhm.
speak about this? Because when you go to McDonald's, you don't tell McDonald's, can you hook me up? You pay the fee, what
Yeah.
McDonald's says. So can
Yeah.
we well, please, let's talk about that,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah, there's a thing I call you're gonna have to pay the full fare at a certain point to get to the next level. And well, just to break it down a little bit so people won't feel so bad, I even tell other bigger companies you should just have like what I call an experimental money bucket. You don't have to always go all the way in on an idea. You can do a trial. That way you can see if that model really works instead of just taking $100,000 and just gambling, and then you're going to lose the whole thing because you didn't know what you were doing. So make sure you put aside an experimental money bucket. No forecast or reforecast what your projections are going to be. Do what I call, they're talking about social distancing. There's something called social listening. And you did that, Jacqueline, when you listened to your friends when they said they need an ebook. You listen to them, and then here you go with the ebook. So, listening to the customers, listening to what's going on in the culture, and you can really do well. But you're going to have to spend some money, but it doesn't have to always be like your whole bank account to do it.
Right, but because when I'm talking to them, when people are coming to me and asking me to help them with certain things, and I'm like, what's your budget? I don't have a budget. When I hear I don't have a budget, the bells go off.
Yeah.
Okay, I've been doing this long enough to know the bells go off, and
Hmm.
then they want to. Well, can you charge me this? No, this is my fee. Well, and I want people to understand this is a business. You
Yeah.
have gained a lot of knowledge. You have
Mhm.
gone through the trials and tribulation. You've gained knowledge. People have to pay you for your knowledge. It's not,
Mhm.
if this is your fee, this is what
Yeah.
people need to make.
Hmm.
And again, okay, right now, what's your favorite? I got to ask you, what's your favorite hairstyle?
Favorite hairstyle probably on a female would be I like bobs. Like a bob could be a short bob, a graduated bob, a layered bob. So a version of some kind of bob, that's always been my favorite haircut.
Mm. Okay, if you were to have a celebrity client
Hmm.
right now, living or dead, I'd like you to name 3 celebrity clients that you would like to do.
To do Muhammad Ali. I would like to,
Ooh.
I would like to cut his hair. Yep, him. And let's see who's alive that I would do.
Or dead, just up to you.
Um, Probably Beyonce,
Okay.
for Beyonce, and then maybe Prince. Yeah,
Mm.
Prince. I could like color his hair or something. You know,
I
those.
like that. And
Yeah,
when you said Muhammad Ali, my first thought was, again, I was assuming that, oh, wow, he would get so much knowledge from Muhammad
yeah,
Ali and
exactly.
stories. So because the type of man that you are, when you said Muhammad Ali, I just knew right away you want to hear the stories, you want to hear the gems, like you just
Yeah,
put some gems into me.
I want to hear how you overcame adversity, because I believe that you become what you overcome. So I want to hear those stories that people dug in and they paid the price and they overcame something to make it.
What's a style that has been present or past that you thought, no, retired at the minute when it came out and you still couldn't get with it?
Probably maybe the shag. That the shag was something I never could come to terms with it.
Ooh, you in trouble. I still see folks walking around with it. Ooh, and some of them watch this show. So when
Yeah,
we edit this show, ooh, I'm gonna get emails about that.
I'm gonna get the backlash, huh?
They go like, Jackie, how you gonna have him on the show and he talking about the shag? Did you tell him about me? Yes. How can people get in contact with you for those? Because I'd like you to say that, because I definitely want to, when we're editing this, I want to send it to a couple of people because it's going to go on our YouTube channel. So can
Okay.
you tell us how they can get in contact with you?
Yeah, they can reach me. My Instagram handle is I am as in Mary, Wil Power, and that's with one L. So it's I am Wil Power. They can direct message me, and then that's the best way. And then I'll give you an email address. I don't want to give it out on the air, but I'll have an email that they can reach me at. And then what I do offer is I have what I call pick my brain sessions. So for a fee, they can reach out to me, and if they want to do a one-on-one, I can do a pick my brain session with them.
Okay. It's been a pleasure having you on the show. You've definitely, I'm telling you, I was like hungry. And when I say I am fed, wait, I'm about to burp. Hold on. I am so full with the information that you've given. And I'm definitely going to promote this and talk to people and let them know, hey, at least, get some information, pay him for his information, just listen to what he has to say, because I guarantee it's, it's going to help you. So I don't care what business, but I understand it's for the salon business and, barbers, because they desperately need it, particularly now with the COVID going on. So are they wearing the mask shield and all of that stuff? Is that what they're doing now?
Yeah, some of them are just wearing the mask. There are some that's wearing the shield and the mask, but I think the majority is just wearing the mask. And they've had to kind of clear out their waiting areas because they can't have that many people in the shop at one time anymore. And they're just doing one client at a time. So actually, it's made them have better service because they can't have you hostage anymore.
Ooh, I'm loving this because look, I don't want to hear, because what I used to do is, like, if my appointment was 8:00 and you stroll in at 9:00 and then at the end you finish doing my hair and you say it's $55. No, I'm giving you $45 because when I go to work, and I'm late, if I was clocking in, they taking that money out. So and I would tell them up front when I first have that consultation, if you're late, we're going to have a problem, because I know if I'm late, you want to add money. So when you're late, I'm taking away money. So if you're okay with it, don't throw the lie on me. So let me tell you now what I'm trying to do. So it's just, great to see more professionalism now. And
Mhm.
you know what I'm talking about. It's great to
Yeah.
see more professionalism. I don't have to see 3 people at a 9 o'clock appointment. You
Mhm.
know, I
Triple
don't have
book.
to. Yes, double, triple, quadruple book, or now, oh, I gotta eat when you have 3 people waiting on you.
Yeah.
I'm hungry. I gotta go eat. No,
Yeah.
you're gonna starve. You're gonna
Mhm.
starve. Because I'm that person in a salon. I'm that person. I'm that chick. So again, it's been a pleasure having you on the Women Are Worthy show. I wish you many peace and blessings and abundance. Lord knows, pretty soon you're gonna be doing Oprah's here. You're gonna be like the Tony Robbins, going around. I'm putting that out there. You're gonna be
Okay.
on TED Talks.
Mm.
Let's put that out
Yeah.
there, because
Okay. I
something
received
like
it.
this, you need something. They need something like this on TED Talk, because even if you're not a salon owner, you can
Yeah.
use this information in your whatever business that you're doing,
Yeah.
entrepreneurship, or if you're a
Mhm.
manager in a company. I think this really
Mhm.
works. So without further ado, it's just, I hate saying goodbye to you because you've given me so much information. I've read stuff down. I'm like, yes. So thank
Wow.
you very much for being on the show. I'm definitely going to tune into your show on Wednesdays. And if there's anything we can do at the Women Are Worthy show, please let us know. It's been a pleasure, and I want you to have a wonderful day and a great week, okay?
All right. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it, and stay safe.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.